got problems. So you can see the balancer's moved out just a little bit. You can just barely see a little silver line where it started to peek out of there. And I need to pull this dude off. And man, it really doesn't want to go. I already broke, I mean, it's a Harbor Freight, but I broke this one. Broke it off, and then I was trying to tack weld it on there to take it out, and I didn't bevel it or have my heat up high enough. All the stuff I'm sure you guys will roast me about, but anyway, it didn't stay on there, so then I had to beat it off, and now I have another one that I have, another jaw puller on there, and man, this thing really doesn't want to come off. I've never had one fight me this bad. I was using that giant, I got like a 7-foot piece of gas pipe over there on it, and it's just rotating the head. So what I'm gonna try to do is heat this thing, because it's cold out here today. I'm just gonna try to heat the balancer, just put some heat like on the balancer so it radiates, but not into the crank to where they don't swell up together. And so I'm hoping that that will be good enough to you know, make it slide off there, because I can heat these things up. Or the last time I just heated this balancer up and pulled right off there, and when I put it on, I just was out here with a torch and torched it, and I put it on in the truck. I mean, it was really easy. But man, this one's fighting. And the jaw, the old girl looks pretty centered in there. It's not pulling awkwardly or anything. It's pretty well centered, so it's not that. It's just fighting, which makes me worried about getting it back on there. But you know, I might have to go put it on the grill or something and get it real hot. Anyway, we'll see what it works. Stay getting after this thing. Hopefully I don't break another balancer puller. Then I gotta buy a real good one or something. Anyway, we'll see what happens. See what works. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, we went to O'Reilly's and we got this. It's a Chrysler type puller, and this is really the one that we were supposed to get. You see, this thing is black, right, instead of that chrome. It does have an end like this, these little rods here that go in there, which I'm not a super fan of. We'll see if they survive. But this is really the one that you want to do. They work better. One, it's smaller, so you get a little better pull, a little more even pull, and this thing's just tough as nails. So we're gonna see if it survives old the pipe here, and we're gonna pull this girl off. And man, I've been hitting this thing with heat and all kind of bolt blaster, and you can see we got just like a little ribbon right there where it's pulling, and so we'll see if we can come off. It's gonna make some squeaky noises, I'm sure. Now we're starting to make some music. This thing's starting to pop and come off here. Let's see here. Let's see. Whoa, there's a big one. Let's see. Bitsy spider came up. Oh, keep the camera centered. Wow, there's blue spout. Okay. Oh yeah. Boy, this thing's on there tight. Man, I can't believe it. This thing came off super easy with this one. Okay, balancer off. Well, a little update. Here's the nv4500, and looks pretty good. No chip gears, doesn't look hot. All the synchros look clean. None of them been ground down, and like I said, just pretty good looking other than this busted case, or bell housing. Everything else so far, getting a clean bill of health. I'm gonna clean it up and put the cover back on, take this bell housing off so we can start getting a new one. And then we'll be looking at this guy here in a minute. Well, friends, unfortunately, we were going to drop some stuff off at the post office and start working on trucks, and we made it about half a block, and the old Jeep died. So we're gonna have to figure out what's going on. It's been giving me a couple little problems. So anyway, on to the next episode here. Okay, so today, before we get to work on the hot rods, and the four-wheel drive, we gotta work on the daily because the daily is failing. My other daily failed too. Look at this thing. Okay, so at first, let's get out here. I noticed that it had some wheel. Can we see that? It had some wheel wiggle here. Where is, oh, can we get back enough? I know I'm videoing it like I'm an epileptic. Anyway, it's smoked because it was grabbing the brake really weird on the way home from work. But then, as I took it off, it has a ton of play. So the wheel bearing is something's going on in there. Man, this wheel is all jacked up. It's got a bad tie rod in, and the wheel bearing is going bad. So of course it was grabbing the brake all crazy because the wheel's just flopping around everywhere. So that means trail boss on to the parts store. All right, so update. We got the 205 cleaned up. I got it painted. It's got a rust barrier on it. That's not actually like a grill paint or you know, anything. It's just a rust preventative paint because my brother plans on overlanding this rig and we want to protect it no matter where he goes. So we sprayed it, cleaned it up pretty good. It's still got some cleaning to do on the aluminum case. The rest of it was good. I need to work on the twin sticks over here. It's probably hard to see. I'll take it outside here. So I've never had a twin stick 205 before, but as you can see, actually those bolts, the only reason they don't touch when this thing passes by is because the knob is actually making it bump out. So one of them needs a thinner, or one of them needs a taller stick, really, for this thing to work. And somebody has manipulated this one before to make it stick out a little wider. So we're gonna have to do some little fabricating on that one. It looks like it needs to actually be bent out more, you know, or something. Or a taller stick on one. But somebody put a Hurst shifter on here, so that one's definitely not the one for here. But I mean, we cleaned it up. Got it cleaned up some. It still needs some work. We'll figure out what we're gonna do. Probably get some button heads for it. And then over here, we've got the pedals. This is off of a manual clutch rig. I'm gonna convert this thing to hydraulic. So I just cleaned it up and did the same thing, put a rust preventative on it. It's looking good. And there's the old girl waiting for transplant. We're waiting on some parts still. But next up is clean, paint, and redo. My brother picked up some parts for the 4500. So as soon as they get here, we got a new bell housing, new front plate right there with a new seal. We got a new throwout bearing, new hydraulic throwout bearing assembly with all the line and the hydraulic, the slave cylinder and everything. So it should be cool. There's a 14 bolt. I got it cleaned up. We're gonna open this up. It's got a welded diff in it, and we got a, where is it? A G80, a Gov bomb. I'm gonna put in it for now, just so we have something that's limited slip. And for what he's doing, it'll be okay for the time being. We can put something else in there. There's a 6 liter. What else? Oh yeah, I have some pictures of this, and I keep saying Dana 60, but actually over here in the corner is the Dana 60. It came out of a K30 dually. 410s, so front and rear should be 410s. We'll get some boxes to open today with some parts to convert the 14 bolt to a disc and to put calipers on it and everything. So moving on. Okay, we're gonna take a look at the old rear end here. So I took the caps off, and I've got this drift pin in there, and I tried to do this with only having 2 arms here. So you can adjust the depth that the pinion and the ring have on each other. with this, and we're gonna loosen it off so we can get it out of there after I've taken it out. And you can see somebody rolled a pattern on this, whoever welded it, welded the diff up, rolled a pattern. But we're gonna loosen these guys up and pull it. But what I wanted to show you guys is look at that pinion down there. We were gonna run this thing without looking at it, but I mean, it looks like the Titanic on the inside, but look at that. Pinion bearing is broken. It's missing a couple of bearings in there. The little keeper is. So let's see if we can get it to go. So anyway, that's where we're at on the 14. Breaking this thing down. Got the axles out. Got to get the drums off. We're doing a disc brake on it. And yeah, it's broke on the inside. And the whoever took the cover off, probably that bearing came out with it whenever they welded this thing and put it back together. But we're gonna clean it up and put it back together the right way. Well, this is kind of where we're at right now. I got the housing broke apart, and it's ready to go. But the G80 that we thought was going to be for the 14 bolt looks like it's for probably you can see the difference in the size there. It's probably for a 12 bolt housing or something. Not sure. But other than that, it's broke apart, it's ready to go. We got a disc conversion kit coming, so I got the spindles broke off and ready to rock. The pinions out of it, so I can clean that thing up. And it needed a new bearing. The bearing, well, you can see the guts down there that just fell out. So it needed a new one. It was pretty nasty in there. Got it all cleaned up. But so for now, that's it. Man, the housing smelled so bad though. They must have welded that locker, like when they welded it in there, it burnt some fluid, because man, it smells terrible. And so we'll see. We may go with the welded diff or may go with a locker. We'll have to, time will tell. We may just put it back together with new bearings and a disc brake conversion. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Merry Christmas to everybody, and have a great New Year. So the drama ensues, right? Can't have good wrenching without some sort of problem. So problem here is when my brother bought this, they advertised it as a 205. We're not super familiar with 205 stuff. And I just pulled it out of the truck and didn't really smoke it over, run the numbers. I just cleaned it up. And then I realized it doesn't have the little 3-bolt circular cover right here on the back, which 205s have. And then after I ran the numbers, it turns out it's a 203. Unfortunate. And so now we're on the hunt for a 205. Nothing like some good drama for the old car building. But anyway, so got a good 203 we're about to put up for sale. And I don't understand the twin stick here. I guess somebody fabricated this thing, because apparently for a 203 it's not really needed, and that's just kind of useless. So not sure what happened there or why that they did that way. But anyway, if you know more about that, then comment down below. I can tell you that apparently the 203 is much heavier, and I agree, because that dude's like 200 pounds. Fun times.